Yo, hello. How's everybody doing today? SolarLune here. I am SolarLune. Actually, kind of in the dark. Now it's a little bit better. But yes, hello. I'm SolarLune. I'm an independent game developer. I am a musician. I'm an artist and stuff like that. And I'm the developer of MasterPlan. MasterPlan is a project planner. It's an idea board, a graphical application made in Go. And I'm moving over to SDL2, and I'm basically doing everything over again, rewriting it. So that's a lot of fun. And yeah, we're gonna be streaming development. So how's everyone doing today? In chat, in the future, in the comment section, or on whatever device you're watching this. How's everyone doing? And so I will basically review what we have so far, what I have currently, and then we can get to work. Let me actually get some music going here. Well, actually, let me not get some music going because I'm going to be showing music. I'm going to be playing some music. So basically, the idea behind MasterPlan is it is a idea board. So you can put stuff on your board. Your board extends infinitely out. So it's untethered. It's not like most project planners where it's like, oh yeah, here's your plan and it's like in a column, or here's your plan and it's like a calendar view. My project planner is basically just kind of designed to be easily used and easily extended, and you can just put stuff where you want. The what I've been doing recently is basically just making it so that you can go ahead and type things easily and have the words wrap, for example, have the text wrap. Yeah, so that's cool. It automatically wraps. You have new lines, you have all that stuff is working. You can select text, you can cut and paste, copy and paste. Cool. This is a checkbox card, so you can go ahead and check it off, and basically that just indicates that it's completed. Otherwise it is incomplete. And then notes are basically just cards that don't have anything to do on them. You can just type willy-nilly and type stuff out. So the general reason why I made this application is basically for game developers or people who are planning big projects, maybe like books or other creative things. Maybe you're drawing, you're an artist. You could then use this application to have all of your references in one place. And so what I recently added was the sound card. So you can go ahead and double click on it and it will open a browser where you can go ahead and choose your song, choose a file on your computer. So here's an example, and then you can play it. Sorry, I didn't realize that my my desktop audio wasn't on. And then I just added the ability to click to seek. So you can go ahead and seek. So that's cool. Excellent. The label is a little jank right now. I have to fix it so that it just gives a little bit more room for the label, for the time code, for the timestamp. But overall, this is good. It's working pretty much as anticipated. It's not perfect. The label can kind of go off the card here. That's something I need to kind of get squared away, but overall this is working rather well. Everything kind of resizes as it should, and yeah, it's solid. So that's cool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and commit this. Actually, there's a small issue I wanted to fix before I forget. Oh yeah, you should be able to just click and hold, I believe. I'll see if we can do that. So basically when we go to GUI, instead of it being pressed, we can just basically see if the button is held. And then that would allow us to see, that would allow us to kind of seek a little bit easily, more easily. Yeah, that didn't work, but that's fine because I don't really imagine this would work any other way. Like, I don't think if I didn't consume it, I don't think this would work. Like, it's not gonna work, but I think this might be kind of ear piercing. Let's see. Hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, so this is fine. We'll leave it like this for now. But yeah, this is pretty solid so far. So that's good. We're gonna go ahead and commit these changes, and well, actually, before we do, there's something else I wanted to do, which is fix the time codes. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna go over to the contents. And just give this a little bit more space, initial space for these codes. Cool. Let's try a different song. Let's try this one. Copy and paste works. All right, that works really well. So yeah, we're gonna commit these changes, and we should be good to proceed. No, not. Can we? Yeah, commit everything. We don't need this. We will need this. We will need this. We will need not that. The icon changed. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. So we're adding string type property. We're adding what else? That's basically it. Now, at some point, we're gonna need to basically kind of approach this from a little bit of a different angle, and like you can double click to go ahead and load a resource here, you know, like that this is fine. The idea that you can double click to just like load a sound, that's fine. But the previous version of MasterPlan supported the ability to copy a URL and download a song or sound, and the same thing for images. Pardon me. So I need to basically figure out a nice, like, easy way to do that. Like an easy place to put in a URL. Something that comes to mind is basically if the container, that's basically what this is. It's like the card has contents, and the contents define a container for the sound, because they have to be for the sound card, because it's kind of specific in the way that it is designed. Oh, pardon me. But it defines basically content, a container. And so it's got a label that basically says the file name. It's got a time code. It's got the buttons here, and then the seek bar, which is just a scroll bar, horizontal. And so what we need to do is basically find a place to put in the URL. Like, where can we put that? So I'm thinking that we could put it basically like here below the file name and above the URL. I'm sorry, above the time code. Basically just make another row. And I'm thinking that basically this would be cool, because this would allow us to kind of automatically handle collapsing. Because like some people, and I think even on my own like to-do list, wanted to have the ability to collapse cards or collapse tasks. So you could be like, oh, I have this, whatever, for example, a note card, and it's whatever, it's so big. It would be cool to have a button to collapse it. Well, we could basically do that with a container if containers supported collapsing kind of natively without us really trying to implement it. So anyway, what I'm thinking is basically if we have this design where you have the file name at the top, you have the URL, I guess, or the file path below it, and then you have this row and that row, then we could just collapse by simply changing the size of the card, and therefore changing the size of the container. So collapsing is basically just it maybe a container not drawing, or a container just being like one row tall. That's collapsing. So basically, rather than manually coding in collapsing of cards, it would be better to make it so that collapsing is an automatic process. So yeah, we'll see if we can do that. What we'll do is first things first. I'd like to say, or I'd like to set the minimum size to be, let's say, 1 row tall. Right, so let's say it's like this, right? So no sound loaded, and then this stuff below it shouldn't draw. Basically, it would be drawing to the container, which is a text. It should have a texture, and draw there, and then doing this would basically just draw more of the container. Also, I didn't realize, but the little indications under the buttons aren't drawing correctly. I forgot about that. Let's see, button. Okay, well, this is it. But the line width, center X. Yeah, okay. This is where we fell off the rails. This is where the issue is. Why? Yeah, and then also we want to say if doesn't really matter if it's the X, we just want the Y. Wait, does center X? Okay, no, we do actually want to translate center X as well. Okay, so we're going to translate that, and then we want center X, Y to be, or I guess the translated point. This, and then center X can be translated point X, and Y can be translated point Y. All right, let's try that. There we go. Now the little lines underneath are showing up. That's cool. All right, that's good. Now the next thing we need to do is yeah, implement this system that I'm thinking of, because I mean that seems like a pretty solid collapse Like, you know, if you can't see this stuff, then that feels collapsed. This feels like a little bit more, and then you have the seek. If you please. All right, this is a problem because it's too far over. Trying to think of how I can solve this easily, because we want the resizability to always be there. But this is definitely getting in the way. So let's go ahead and make it so that there's always some room. In the container. How can we do that? So we do this, use row, max width, padding times 2, padding, let's say 16 instead of 8. No, it's padding 32 instead of 8. Yeah, it's always seems like the padding system I have implemented might not be working. Plus padding. Yeah, I feel like it's not padding properly. Okay, now padding might be working properly. So let's say padding is 16. Well, let's set it back to be what it was. Still not quite right. I think that's partially because no matter how, let's see. Oh, the chat wasn't updating. Okay. Bundi says hello. Felix rather. Good evening, and Rashad Z. Yeah. Yo, how's it going? Hello. Rashad Z says, I have a question. Is Kotlin a good programming language to look into? Yeah, I mean, like if you're a fan of Java, then I would say it's a good programming language. I think like it's a little like it's kind of like Java in that there's a lot of like, as far as I remember, there's kind of a lot of not tools, but a lot of like mechanics to the language. Like there's a lot of like classes and companion classes, and there's stuff like there's a lot of stuff that it affords you. But yeah, I think it's a fine language. Also, I'm gonna turn on some music. Let's see. Okay. That's a little. This is good. So yeah, I gotta figure out a way to basically say. Well, I guess the question is, what do I want it to do in a situation like this, where it just won't fit? If we draw it to a texture, then we can just be like, okay, well, whatever gets drawn outside of the texture gets cut off. So that's not really that big of a deal. But the problem kind of comes in when you have something like this. Like this works, the seek bar, because it doesn't come within range of the. I guess we could just make it so that the resize box is just outside of the. Yeah, that would be a better solution. Like rather than it being inside, we can make it so that it's outside the card rectangle. Yeah. Now you can always grab it. Cool. Okay, it's off, but that is what we need to do. So, let's see. Sizing. Start resizing. Lord Dorogoth says, is this Godot? Nope, this is SDL2. This is SDL2 with Golang. Where's... let's see. After right, okay, this is right. There's a... like, it's off. As you can see, it's like off center. Sizing, recreate. Oh, it's just this. Okay. So I guess we could just say minus. So I guess we could just do it this way actually. Okay. There we go. So even if it was like this, we can always resize it. All right, that's good. Cool. Now, when we render this to a texture, this should kind of solve some of the overdraw problems we're having here. Yeah, this stuff. So we're going to go to GUI. We're going to go to container. This will require texture. And so we're going to... Actually, we're just going to do it this way. Lucretius, hello. How's it going? Okay, so texture, globals dot renderer dot create texture. For the format, needs to be RGBA 8888. Access needs to be target. The width needs to be the container rect width and the container rect height. It returns a pointer. Oh, just an error. Okay. Okay, cool. It does not like this. Okay, so we're generating the rectangle, or the texture. We're gonna draw it to the texture and then kick it out. Now, let's see. Hold on. Actually, I got set rectangle. Yeah, so then setting the rectangle recreates the texture. And if container.texture nil, then we wish to destroy it. Okay, so this should work. Now what we need to do is basically draw. This is where it gets a little tough, because what we need to do is basically, now that we figured it out, Linux, yeah. Yeah, I'm using Linux. Because the way that this works is that we're drawing in world space for things like buttons and labels. Also, we just crashed because the texture dimensions can't be 0. Why are they 0? Set rectangle. Why is the container 0 for sound contents? Container, it's because it is 0. Okay. Let's see. All right. So why is this? This is the only place where I'm using a container. All right, let's just do it this way. Let's do it this way. So if we recreate texture, we just say basically width equal to container.rect.width. If W is less than 0, less than or equal to 0, it's 2. And then H is the container rect height. Okay, now we will go with width and height here, but in 32 form. Okay. All right, there we go. Now the thing that we need to do is basically, right, this is where we get a little lost in the sauce in some respect, because basically we're drawing this stuff to world space. That's what makes it so that we can, you know, zoom in and out and all that stuff, and you know, you can point at it, you know, pan around and point at it. So that's fine. But if we want to draw it to a texture, then the texture needs to be basically kind of localized. Like the texture, we can't have a huge texture. We have to have a small texture that basically is the size of the container, and we just draw stuff into that texture and then draw the texture to world space. That's where we get a little tough, where it's getting a little, that's where things get a little weird. So there's no way for me to alter where elements draw apart from setting them to their positions. So I guess what we'll do is we'll do this the correct way, which is to basically make it so that none of this stuff, none of the things that basically get added to a container have world positions, are in world space. They're just going to be drawn and placed because the container makes it world space. What's an alternative? Because it already is working the way that it is working. Is there any way we can basically have them draw to a texture without them knowing that they're drawing to a texture? I guess. I think this is just going to be drawing, so I think it'll work if we do it this way. And the idea behind it is essentially, this is the location where we want stuff to be, but then when we go to draw it, we want to subtract from it the container's location. What happens if I say, hold on, let's try something. Okay. X, Y, X plus, okay, X, Y plus padding. Okay, got it. All right. So this is still in world space. Okay. Okay. So we might be able to do something like this, where we basically say, let's just set the X and Y to be 0, but that won't work because draw doesn't update the element positions. So we will have to do this. This is jank. Like, there's no way to, like, force things to draw at a different location, I don't think. Where would I draw? Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any way around this. We basically have to do... something like that. It's not bad, but it's definitely not good. I guess it would be actually minus. Yeah. Okay, this is... Yeah, this is better. Let's give it a shot real quick. I want to see if this actually is working as it should. So the play button's right around. Yeah, okay. Alright, so this might work. So then when what we want to do here is basically say global, or yeah, globals.renderer.set target render target, and we want to use the container's texture. We also want to get the screen. We can do it out here actually. And then we want to set it back. Okay. Music Boy J Boy, hello. Welcome to the stream. How's everything going? Alright, so now we're drawing all of the controls to a texture. And then what we want to do is draw the texture. Globals.renderer.copy container texture. All of it to the screen, but we need to define the source. We don't need to define the source, so we can define the destination, but we need to define the no, wait, actually, we can just use container.rect. I forgot. It's gonna be copy F. There we go. Let's see if that works. Might work. Might work. Does not work. Correction. Music Boy says he's good. How about you? I'm doing okay. I'm tired because I didn't sleep. Like I woke up really early today. Yeah, but overall I'm doing okay. I'm doing not bad. So we're rendering to the texture. Are we not rendering the entire texture? Let me see this. Container rect. Oh, yeah. That might be why it's not working. Okay. We need to do this in world space because the container... yeah. And then if world space. Equals globals dot project camera translate direct. All right, so that should kind of do what we needed to do, and then also we need to fix this, that it is indeed world space. Let's see if that works. Just no sound. Okay. This is partially on the right track. There's a couple things we need to do. We need to, when we generate the texture, which is down here, we need to set alpha or set blend mode to be blend. Yeah, that's part of it. Now, is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. Is there? To make it transparent? Because that is... Oh, RGBA. Why is that RGBX? What was that? Let's see. Okay, better. Okay. Why is it drawing? Oh, yeah, no. Oh. Okay, well that's no good. Okay, what could be the cause of that? Let's see. All right, so we're translating. Correct. Let's try this. Try defining the rectangle that we're going to be working with. Let's say we just want to draw a 64 by 64 square of it. Okay. Give me like 256 by 256. Why is it like dependent on camera location? Oh. Let's see. So we can do it this way, but I think we have to untranslate the camera. That's probably what's going on. Okay. So let's try that. We can... This world space stuff is a pain. So this might work if it's not world space. Otherwise, rect... we need the rectangle to be basically untranslate. Rect. Okay. Let's do it and then see if it's worth the effort. Untranslate is just going to be basically taking a rect and returning an f rect. Yeah. But instead of being this, maybe a plus would work. It's not working. Okay. Let me make sure this is actually running. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the fundamental problem here is basically... It's not... Let's see, what happens if we just... If we don't do anything, we end up with this. If we do something, we end up with this. Otherwise, let's see, we could try this. That ends up with that. Okay. So the fundamental problem I mean, this is doing what we need it to do. What can we... Let's see. How do we want to do this? Let's try this one more time. Okay, so 0 starts at 832. I feel both fear and love for the man, the triangle man, J-boy. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. That's exactly what I'm going for, is pity as well as dread. So 0, 1, 2, 0. Oh, I see. Okay, hold on. Can I get row dot index? Index incorrect? Okay. All right, so 0, 0 is 8, 0, 1. Oh, 0, 1 is 48, 0. Okay. Then 10 is 832, 241.32, 281.32, and then 32.64. Okay, so this is 128. All right, this definitely sounds pretty correct. Resizing should change where things draw. Okay. Moving. It's because they're still world space. So I guess what I need to do is just make it so that the contents aren't world space. I think I said that before, right? If I just make the contents not world space, because the container is world space. But that doesn't work. But it has to, right? It has to. We have to add add something to the offset, to the mouse offset for this to work. Yeah, okay. I think what I need to do is basically make it so that all controls, all GUI controls basically are in GUI space unless they're in a container. Nah, I don't like that idea. Oh, that might work. All GUI controls could be basically GUI space unless they're in a container, in which case the container handles the stuff to do with that. So we'll say the containers is world space, and then we'll say everything else is not world space. None of the other things that go in a container are world space. Playback label is not world space. Okay. All right, this is closer to correct. Closer. No sound loaded. Yeah, this should not be. So the container, we got the file path. And then we got this. Okay, so let's say this stuff isn't world space. Then we resize it. Yeah, this is better. This is better. It's not perfect, but it's better. Okay. Now, why is that happening? Why is it stretching past this point? This is interesting. I feel like I'm definitely getting there. Oh, that's why. Okay, so this is basically correct. So this is collapsed, and then you have more options. Okay, this is pretty solid. Now we just have to make it so that the buttons actually work, which they would. Like they will. I just have to basically make it so that the what's the word? We just manually add the offset in when we go to update the container, which we should be able to do here. I guess actually we'd just do it from the container update function. We say globals.mouse.offset. Now, basically, here is where we manually set the offset to be the translated location according to the camera. So we have to go to events. Oops. because mouse position, yeah, okay. Let's see. Well, position. How will I want to do this? We'll make position be a function. And we'll say world screen position. No. Local position. So yeah, let's actually do that. Say position, local position. Okay, and then local position. Offset. Okay. Does that even work? Now that I'm thinking about it, like, will this even theoretically work? This would be the mouse offset also, but like, yeah, that would be a better solution. Rather than rewriting this entire thing, we can make it so that world position basically just does like, it just gives you a local offset. Let's see how we want to do this. So we got position. So we got X and Y. But we want to add a. We want to make it so that basically position can be world position. How can we do that? I guess fundamentally, let me rethink this, because what we need to do is basically make it so that global's mouse position. Oh, yeah, I guess this is a hack, but it should work. We just say basically if container dot world space, then mouse position is this global's mouse position equals global's dot mouse dot world position. And then all right, so that should basically do it, I think. Looks like. Oh, looks like it actually works, which is bananas. Yeah, it's working. That's sick. That's really sick. That's literally kind of insane. So what we're gonna do with this horrible knowledge. Now I basically am thinking that maybe no elements should be like only containers should be able to be, what's the word I'm thinking of? Only containers should be able to be like in world, like basically containers are what you use to make a GUI element world space, because at least that kind of isolates problems to a single location, and then in addition that takes out the Boolean I've been putting on a lot of elements where it's like, oh, is this world in world space, and it's like it doesn't really need to be world space. Index to world, index to screen. Yeah, that might be a good solution, because I don't have any real, I can't think of any real situation where I would want. Well, let's see if we can do this. Hold on. Let's go to, yeah, checkbox. Let's say we had a container. This is going to be world space. And then we say oh, actually it would be this. Missing method rectangle. Wait, why did I ever? Okay, well. Music Boy says, "Bruh, how are you so good at coding?" I appreciate that. I don't feel like I'm particularly good at coding. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really feel like I'm particularly good at coding. I feel like it's just I've been at it for kind of a long time. And after a while, you kind of get used to your inability to do certain things. You kind of get used to certain ideas. Like you start to see stuff like you've seen it before, and so it's like, okay, well, you know, I'll do it this way because that's the way that, you know, I always do it, or whatever. It is, I appreciate it, but I'm still not quite where I want to be in terms of my overall skill, I guess you could say. Like that. I am not a god. By no means am I a god. There's so much I need to improve upon. Okay, so this is not working, of course, but why is it not working? Check, let's check. Label. As a literal inner. True. Oh, I see. Yeah, this is what we need. Alex says you get used to your code usually. Yeah, like it's as you just exist, you get used to it. Okay, so all right, so negative 271, negative 30. Yeah, okay, so this should work. It's not working because this is, yeah, I need this to be world space anymore because we're doing it now. Okay, cool. And then why is the label not drawing? Label set text. Why is the label not drawing? Why is the label not drawing? Label. Is it adding? Did it add it? The way Solar's keyboard sounds when typing requires a new term for it, scarfing. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but I appreciate that nonetheless. Man, this might not work after all. Which is the worst kind of situation. Because the label here... I guess we don't want it to be world space. That might be part of it, but... yeah, there's supposed to be a label here. It's not being drawn, I think. This is dead center. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it's definitely doing something. Okay, so 0, that's the checkbox, I think. Okay. And then this is the text box that has some text in it. It's supposed to be drawing. The text isn't drawing? Is that what the issue is? And for anyone who's like wondering what I'm doing and why I'm spending so much time on it, basically, containers, I'm trying to kind of refactor it because I had cards drawing and working a certain way, and I want to kind of consolidate it so that they all work the same way, so that this card works the same as this card internally. And in order to do that, I need to go to label, I think. And when draw, but there's no, it's not, is it? Like it's not, right? Like the label isn't, you got the rect, you got the text, you got the render result, you have world space. It's, yeah, world space is false. So the text isn't world spaced. So why is it drawing? Why is it not? Drawing. Oh. All right, I think I might understand what's going on. Let me try something real quick. So contents update cc.label.rect start display rect. Is there any easier way to do this? There is not. Okay. Let's try that real quick. All right, so there's a couple problems here. I gotta figure out how I want to approach this. All right. I don't want to waste too much more time on this. It's okay for something to be alpha / inconsistent. We can make it consistent later. So all this stuff. Might work like this. Also, we can go back to here and undo the changes we made on the checkbox. Yeah, so there's definitely something I need to fix with regards to this. It's not horrible, but it's definitely not perfect. At least this is working. I think part of the problem let me see something real quick, hold on. Yeah. So I think part of the problem is basically I have two Lucas Blota says, wasn't there a Raylib version of this some time ago? There is. Yeah, there still is. It's just I'm updating this to SDL2. So if you go to my GitHub, you'll find on the master branch the current version, which is SDL2. Yeah, the fundamental problem that I'm having here is, like, this works. I guess this works for now. This is fine. It's not perfect. The bar should probably, like, I myself am not sure how this works in some respect. Like, I like, you know, how it works, except for the bar getting smaller as the card shrinks. The bar should basically stay the same size. Also, I'm pretty sure it's possible to hit a button off screen like this. Yeah. How can we solve that? How can we solve that? How did I solve that? I guess what I might have done is basically say if you click outside of the container, then hide the input. Bruh, I guess that's what I'll have to do. Like is it, if it's just anything really down? I guess that's fine. You know what? Left button. All right, so that's the general idea. TJK says, I'm surprised mouse clicks hit buttons that are hidden from view. Well, the reason why they are doing that is because the only thing we did is that it's not actually like hiding from view is just basically rendering to a texture that's this big and then drawing this much of it. So that's hiding from view. It's still existing. So we have to basically say you're clicking outside of the rect. So let's not report that to the things contained in the container, which is what I'm doing here. I'm hiding a mouse button. And now I remember why I implemented this the first time in the current version of, or the previous version of MasterPlan. Yeah, so this is... where is this word consumed? Okay. All right, that might work. Okay, so let's see here. We load a sound. Cool. It's not working because I forgot to actually make hiding do something. Okay, that might work. Okay, so it is kind of working. You can't click on buttons, but you can still double click on this area. That's weird. Why can you double click on that area actually? Oh, it's inside. Let's see that. This would be the world position, actually. Okay. Okay, so now let's make a let's make a I guess an ability to like easily collapse a thing. I guess let's do it. Why is this so chunky? My energy levels are relatively low, but that's okay because that's something people have to deal with sometimes. Do we want to do... I feel like that's a little big. Maybe we could do something like this. Yeah, I'm trying to think of is there any like is that, I guess you could do that, I guess we could do something like this maybe. It kind of looks like a minimization button thing. So where I'm thinking of putting this is basically just like at the top right of any container that is beyond a minimized size, which is, I guess, 1 tile large or tall. Then a button would appear up here and you would press it and then it would basically allow you to go like that and back. A chevron. It's kind of similar to a chevron, yeah. Chevron, isn't it? I see what you mean. I guess we could try that. Let's see. I don't know actually if I have enough. Let's do it this way. Yeah, something like this, maybe. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'll go with that. I like that. But I'm trying to figure out where I can place this in such a way that it won't get in the way. Putting it here would work, but the way buttons work, there's no backgrounds to them. I guess I could put it... Yeah, it would have to be on the top. It would have to be like up here or something. I guess we could just make it so that there's a key combo. No, it should be a visible thing you can press. So you press here, it expands. You press here, it retracts. I mean, I guess we could put it here on the left side, but that side isn't always there, right? It's sometimes, no, I guess it's, yeah, I guess we can be pretty sure that it's unoccupied. let's just do a key combo for now. I'm not too sure where to put this or where it would appear. I feel like it would be kind of left side of the card. Yeah, next to the music note icon. I could put it there, but I feel like it wouldn't quite fit. Like it wouldn't really be so good there. I don't know. So container, this is going to be collapse. I guess we'll say original for something like that. TJK says, what if instead of a single item is more like a bottom tray at the bottom of the card? A bottom tray at the bottom of the card. Let me see, I'm trying to build this so I can kind of see it here. A bottom tray at the bottom of the card. Oh, you mean like a button down here that you could press to roll it up? It's an interesting idea, but I feel like it could pop out from behind the card when you hover top right. So you hover up here and then anything behind. Yeah, that could work. But the thing about that is that, well, maybe that would work. Maybe I could do it just like as a little tab that appears. That does feel comfortable. It does feel doable. Maybe I could do that. All right, let's just build in the ability to collapse it, and we'll put it on a key binding, and then we'll see if we still have time, because I'm running out of steam and energy. But I'm willing to at least build in collapsing containers. Although maybe I could just build that into cards in general. There's nothing about containers specifically that needs to allow them to collapse. Like any of these could collapse. This could collapse. Yeah, let's do it. Let's build it on anything. It doesn't have to be a container. Card. Okay, so we got collapsed. We have uncollapsed height. Let's. I actually don't need to do this. I just need to go down to somewhere where we can add it. Is this? Yep. Okay. Okay, so collapse. All right. And then we got uncollapse. Red height is equal to card dot uncollapsed height. Okay. Card collapse through. Create. Yeah, let's do it that way. Okay, so this should basically do it. Let's see. All right, so that basically should do it. Let's add a key binding set for this. Let's see. So you have a card, right? And then you're like, I want to collapse it. Shift C. Actually, that kind of works, yeah. Left shift. Actually, we don't need a uncollapse. We'll just have a collapse card, so it just collapses, and then it just toggles. It just toggles. So we're gonna go to project next. Global shortcuts, okay. Although I guess that let's see, keybinds. Okay, so it does handle its own key bindings. All right. Okay, so we'll just say if we'll just put it here. If globals dot program settings key bindings on KB collapse card selected and card dot collapse. Okay, that should basically do it. Okay, I don't know why I typed that, but I'm just trying to... Yeah, that works pretty well. That actually is pretty cool. Yeah, it does work pretty well, actually. Yeah, alright. That's pretty good. When's the paper getting published? That's a good question. I don't know. I have to work on this, then maybe I'll see about the properties of thermodynamics. I'll finally be able to finish my term paper on the theory of relativity. Alright, well this is pretty solid. Didn't get a whole lot done, but this isn't too bad. Yeah. This is just like awkward as heck. I gotta figure out a way to get through this without because I just don't like them being different. I don't like all of the cards being different. But I guess that's kind of good because, you know, the design of each card can be unique. And this might, now I have two methods or two approaches I can take to design cards, because I'm going to need to design the progression task card, which is going to be a little different, right? Because it's got a left and right button that basically spans the height of the task, because there's not really a reason not to. You're going to be able to edit the current value, as well as the last value, and then the title on top. So it's a little bit different. So I got to figure out how I'm going to manage to do that. It probably will work like this, because it needs to have maybe a column, another column, and another column. I have to figure out how I can space them. I'm kind of thinking now. I'm kind of wondering if I maybe went around about this a little bit of a different way, if things would be different, like in a better. But I feel like this is fine for now. But there's still a lot to think about in terms of design, just fundamental design. You know what? I still got some minutes. Let me commit this, and I'm gonna get started on the undo system, and we'll see if we can get that implemented to some extent. We never actually used this untranslate, I don't believe. Yeah. So cards can now be collapsed. What else? Containers now contain. What else? Let's see, yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna go over here actually before I continue, before I forget. Let's close the others. And say when you add a row, and then you add okay. Alright, so we probably should set this to be the default size. I'm not sure if there is a default size set up for a lot of these cards. Let's see. This can be small, right? Okay, no. Okay, so they're all always like that. Okay, so maybe it would be better to have something like that. Yeah, something of this size. No, I should have the whole thing. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's go to card, or no, contents rather. The minimum size for a sound should probably be something like this. And then also yeah, just actually a little bit more. Or no. I'm sorry. Minimum size should probably just be a single point for sounds. Yeah. But now the problem, or what I wanted to do, is also make it so that this is the default size. I'm not sure how I can do that, because by default I guess just serializing when the contents are set. W 0 192 by 64. That's this size. Okay, that's the default by default. The default by default. So I guess I could maybe make this just the default size, and every card is that big. That feels kind of large, right? Well, that's fine, I guess. Let's see how that works. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. We can make it a little bit bigger. Kind of feels like post-it notes. And you can make them smaller as necessary, but that's fine. This gives you, they're nice and chunky. Implemented something to make the colors switch very slightly between notes, but it's so slight, I'm not sure if it's worth it. Could use some hue shifting. Yeah. Okay, well, anyway, this is fine. Right. So we could try setting up the undo system. The general idea that I have is basically one of like we serialize the card whenever anything changes. I guess that we could serialize the card whenever. I guess I don't know if we want to serialize it every frame, but we need to serialize the card sometimes on some occasions, in some situations, whatever. And when serialized, well, yeah, I mean, like, it's pretty simple, actually. I mean, like, it's pretty much the system I had before. Let's see, I might want to just try copying this entire thing. So, yeah, we already went through this. Current project boards, task changed. This seems odd. Undo history, redo, undo. update. So serialize the card, and then returns the undo state. When you apply it, it just applies it to it deserializes it. It deserializes the undo state information. Restore task, delete task. Oh, that's true. I still have to do that. Oh my gosh. I probably will just copy this then. So I have to implement restoration of cards, as well as deletion of cards is fine. I think that works fine, but restoration needs to be implemented. But everything else should basically just work. So I'm gonna just go ahead and uncomment this and see if we can kind of work with it. So we don't take boards anymore. There will just be one undo history, I guess, for the entire project. We don't care about lines. For now, we're just going to try to get this up and running. Okay. So this should basically work. We're going to go ahead and head over to project and implement it. We're going to make an undo history. I don't think, does it need to be updated? It does, okay. We will update it at the end of the update loop. There's nothing else I think we need to do, right? Capture, clear, redo, undo, update. That's it. Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do here, so this should more or less work, or at least it's not crashing anything. What we want to do is basically say when the card, as an example, is no longer dragging, or no longer being dragged, rather, we can just go ahead and say, let's generate card.project undo history, capture, new state, new undo state. All right, so let's try that. So that basically this should make it so that we can capture undo history events by just dragging the card. So when we do something, we drag the card, it should basically make the change. So now what we're gonna do, we close contents and GUI. Now what we're gonna do is go to project. We actually want to be able to handle like undoing and redoing, so we're going to add key bindings for that here. We will add them here. We'll say if globals program settings key bindings on KB undo project dot undo history dot undo, and then KB redo redo. Okay. We also wish to add those key bindings in here. So undo, redo, we're just gonna smush these up here. Select text, or yeah, central text. Okay, KB define. Undo is left control, and then redo is left shift and left control and Z. Okay. So this should kind of get us what we're looking for. It's not doing anything, but that's fine. All right, so capture, all right. Undo, history index, redo, okay. Let's see, update, history changed. Let's see if this is... History updates. Let's see if this is doing anything at all. Okay, so it is creating frames. Yo, what? Yeah, so like this doesn't generate an undo frame. Now that we click though, it should. Yo, let's go. So that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I'm trying to see if there's another way we can kind of like unilaterally see when a property changes on a card, and if so, save it, like serialize it, or. But there's no way to set, like I have set value for something that's direct, but if it's an object, that doesn't work. Maybe. I might have to rework this a little bit. The alternative is to basically just do this kind of constantly. Like here, here. Okay, I'm fine. I thought I was about to sneeze. Let's see. So drawing the card. Update. So update. How do we know when something is ready? So this has a label that's editable. That's a property. This has a checkbox that's editable and a label. That's a property. This has a file path. That's a property. So how do we know when one of those changes? So my theory here, my current theory here is to basically make it so that the property has a link to the card, and then whenever the property's value is changed, it serializes the card and sends it to the undo or I guess it just sets the card, signals to the card that an undo state should be generated, and then at the end of the frame the card generates the undo state, and that, there you go. That probably would work. Yeah, that probably would work. The thing about it though is the current system basically has a property being like checkbox, like basically a property can hold a piece of data. Oh, that's, yes, okay. That makes more, okay, that makes a lot more sense. So the way this my property system works currently is that like a property can be a checkbox, it can be a label, but it's not good to store those objects directly in properties. Properties should just have basically a value, a plain, what's the word? Atomic value, I guess that's the right word. Like a string or a Boolean value, just a simple variable. And then the label or the checkbox can be on the contents to show that property. So if you have a label, let's say, like the checkbox has a label and it's like, you know, a list of things you want to do or whatever, and you say, you know what, I want to switch that to be a note. When you switch it to be a note, the note should have its own label that gets created, and that goes ahead and fills out with the contents from the property. That way, we can use a singular set function that basically indicates, it can signal to the card that the property has been changed. Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it. So basically, this is deprecated. This should not know anything about GUI elements. It should just be properties, serialize and unserialize, deserialize. That's helpful. That's helpful to think about. So the end result should be basically, we take this stuff out, and add in like Boolean value, a Boolean value version of like isString or asString, and then we can tie the and change this stuff out of the serialize and deserialize. But then we can basically know when we set a value on the property, like when you change the text, when you change a position, that should also probably be in here. That should be a property. I believe. Yeah, so I have to do some thinking, but I think this is definitely a step in the right direction, and with a few tweaks, the undo system will be a lot simpler and a lot easier to deal with than I think it previously has been. I think that the undo system used to be kind of unwieldy, even at its best, which is basically as of MasterPlan 0.7 point whatever 2. It was like consistent until it wasn't. Like, it was a consistent undo system until, sometimes it would just not undo correctly. I feel like this system would probably be a little bit more consistent because it's kind of triggered more reliably. But I think this is the right way to do it. I shouldn't be like creating or handling checkboxes or anything like that in here. Okay, that was useful. That was helpful. But yeah, this is really shaping up. This is definitely we definitely have to make it so that all stuff moves together. But this is definitely shaping up, and I'm definitely happy with the outcome so far. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I've been SolarLune. It's been real, and yeah, hopefully it'll be even realer when this gets closer to being completed. Hopefully soon. Hopefully by the end of the month. That's what I'm aiming for. We'll see if I can hit it. I still have quite a bit to do. I still have to do tables. I still have to do maps. I still have to do images. I still have to do timers. I still have to do the project settings. But I think that the potential is definitely there. There's definitely cool stuff you can do now that you couldn't do then. You couldn't do back in the previous version of MasterPlan. Like that, like change, a whole bunch of cards at the same time, like have movable and resizable menus. Like there's some cool stuff here. So I'm generally hyped about the advancements and the improvements, and I think it's shaping up. I think it's a little exciting. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLune. If you wish to support development, please do feel free to grab a copy of MasterPlan, give it to a friend or ally, or use it for yourself. It's a really useful tool for game development, for keeping track of your time that you spend or time that you're working on something. Check it out. It's really helpful in my opinion. But yeah, it's been real. I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.